As far as a faith background, I really don't have a tremendous faith background, and I'll tell you why. I grew up in a very chaotic family, like a lot of people have, and that affected me in ways that I wouldn't understand. And I ultimately pursued a career as a police officer. And when I pursued that career, I realized I thought things were kind of bad for me and my family, and I realized that it can get a lot worse, and saw a lot of horrible things. And always at that point, any kind of thoughts about God or how God works were I was like, how can a loving God allow these things to go on? And I really never had anybody give me a good answer to that. And so it just didn't seem to me from my experiences is that God really cared about us. That was kind of the position where I started from. But then as time went on, I survived some things both in my career that could have really ended my life, and outside of my career, injuries and falls and other medical issues. And then I started to think, that just didn't happen by accident. That didn't happen by accident. That happened for a reason, and that there's got to be something else going on here. My wife had been attending here for a while, and that's why I started coming here. And she was coming by herself, and I really didn't feel right about that. And plus, I think I had some questions. She was telling me about the service and church and what was happening here, and I really started feeling curious about it. The first day I came into Wellspring, I immediately felt comfortable, which was not something that I thought I was going to feel. I felt comfortable. I felt like I belonged here. And when the service started, I felt like I belonged in the chair I was sitting in, and I was there for a reason. My journey here at Wellspring is kind of interesting in that at first I was just listening. I was just listening, as a non-believer, but questioning. We started meeting some people, and my wife joined the small group, and I started going with her, and I met some really nice people there, which is, they're a big part of this process for me. The more I heard, the more inquisitive I became, the more I wanted to hear. And everybody who's presented here at the church has struck a chord with me in some way. I think one of the things that led me to accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior was that I'm so thankful for everything I have. I'm not coming here asking for, I want to give thanks. And I felt like that was coming through the message. And one of the sermons Trey did was on how do you hear God's voice? That made a connection inside of me. So for me to recognize, and I love national parks. And I think Trey had said something along the lines of when you go into and look at the Grand Canyon and you're in awe, that was a big kick in the pants for me. I come from a position of thanks. I have a great life. I've missed so many things that could have ended my life or altered my life in so many ways. And I now realize after my adventure here at Wellspring is that all of these things happened because God was there, and he was my wingman the whole time, and I didn't necessarily recognize it. I would like to state to the people of Wellspring, everybody in this church, that first and foremost, I thank you beyond belief, because you're here creating this environment for somebody like me and allowed me to come in and be here. And like Trey says all the time, if this is your first day, thank you for coming here. If this is your 100th day, thank you for coming here. And when he said that the first day I was here, I know he wasn't talking to me, but it felt like he was talking to me. And when that happened, I immediately realized that this church is here doing the work of God, and strong enough to be able to say, yeah, we get it. Not everybody is full on right now. To still welcome somebody like me to come in and explore and ultimately get to my goal, which is the reason I was here in the first place. Thank you to every person in this church who has been accepting and open to me.